Welcome, my dear students. Once again, I am ready with second part of Evans tries an O level. Are you ready? Actually, last time I left half of the explanation, so I'm going to continue from the beginning. I hope you'll understand. Okay. Evans had escaped from prison 3 times. Due to the recent unrest in the highly guarded areas of the north, he would not be allowed to be present at the governor's residence in Oxford. The governor did not want to be disgraced by Evans. How will he disgrace? By escaping from the jail. Evans was not a burden, but his presence was uncomfortable. Especially when you know that the prisoner is very good at making planning and he can escape from the jail. So definitely that kind of criminals, their presence makes all the jailers uncomfortable. The governor planned to supervise him personally when he visited Oxford. It was possible that Evans was actually interested in adding up to his qualification by learning German. Up to here we have done last time, and now let me continue. On the 7th of June, Monday at 8:30 p.m., the German teacher shook hands with Evans at the high security recreational block which was across D wing. He wished him luck in German language, but Evans could not understand it. Later, Evans realized it and thanked the teacher. The teacher commented that Evans was not prepared and did not even have the slightest chance to pass the exam. Evans said it was possible that he cleared the exam, and not only he will clear the exam, but he would surprise everyone. At 8:30 the following morning, Evans had a visitor, 2 visitors in fact. He tucked his grubby string vest into his equally grubby trousers and stood up from his bunk, smiling cheerfully. "Morning, Mr. Jackson. This is indeed an honor." Jackson was a senior prison officer on D wing, and he and Evans had already become warm enemies. At Jackson's side stood Officer Stephens, a burly, surly-looking man, only recently recruited to the profession. Jackson nodded curtly. "And how is our little Einstein this morning then?" "Was not a mathematician, Mr. Jackson." "I think he was a Jew, Mr. Jackson." Evans' face was unshaven and he wore a filthy-looking red and white bobble hat upon his head. "Give me a chance, Mr. Jackson. I was just going to shave when you burst in." And the word meanings are given. You can take help of this if you are not getting any of the words. Let us continue with the explanation. The next morning at 8:30, Evans was visited by 2 men. He tucked his dirty string vest into his dirty trousers and stood up from his bed that was attached to a wall. He greeted Mr. Jackson cheerfully and said that it was an honor for him that he visited his cell early in the morning. Jackson was the senior prison officer of D wing, and both Jackson and Evans were enemies. Mr. Stephens, who was a newly appointed officer and a strong-looking man, had come along with Mr. Jackson. Jackson greeted him briefly and then asked him about his well-being and made fun of him by calling him Einstein. Evans replied in a similar way by pointing him out that Einstein was a mathematician, and then he said that he thought that he was a Jew. Evans had not shaved and he was wearing a dirty hat on his head. He asked Jackson to excuse him as he was going to shave when both of them entered his cell. So this was the explanation, and now text. Which reminds me, Jackson turned his eyes on Stephens. Make sure you take his razor out of the cell when he is finished scraping that ugly mug of his. Clear? One of these days he will do us all a favor and cut his bloody throat. For a few seconds, Evans looked thoughtfully at the man standing ramrod straight in front of him. A string of Second World War medals proudly paraded over his left breast pocket. Mr. Jackson, was it you who took my nail scissors away? Evans had always worried about his hands. And now, word meanings. Scraping means to remove unwanted covering. And here it is. Shaving, mug, a person's face, ramrod, a strict supervisor, paraded, lined, nail scissors, nail cutter. Let us continue with the explanation part. After hearing him, Jackson told Stephen that this reminded him that Stephen should take away his razor as soon as he had completed shaving his ugly-looking face. He also added that one day Evans would do a favor for the prison officer by cutting down his throat with a razor. Evans gave a thoughtful look at his strict supervisor, who had medals from the Second World War lined up on the left side of his blazer on the breast pocket. He asked him, Mr. Jackson, was it you who took away my nail cutter? Evans was always worried about how his hands looked. I think up to here it's clear. Now let me start with the text. And your nail file too. Look. For a moment, Evans' eyes smoldered dangerously, but Jackson was ready for him. Orders of the Governor, Evans. He leaned forward and leered, his voice dropping to a harsh, contemptuous whisper. You want to complain? Evans shrugged his shoulders lightly. The crisis was over. You have got half an hour to smarten yourself up, Evans, and take that bloody hat off. Me? That? Evans put his right hand lovingly on top of the filthy woolen and smiled sadly. Do you know, Mr. Jackson, it is the only thing that's ever brought me any sort of luck in life. Kind, oh lucky charm, if you know what I mean. And today I thought, well, with me, exam and all that. Buried somewhere in Jackson was a tiny core of compassion, and Evans knew it. Smolder here means anger. Leaned, bent, leered, watched. Contemptuous means disrespectful. Shrugged means dismiss. Compassion means sympathy. And our explanation. Jackson replied that he took his nail file too. Evans got angry and his eyes started glowing with anger. Jackson was ready for this and he answered that it was the governor's order. He bent towards him and asked in a whisper whether he wanted to complain. Evans denied by moving his shoulders. Jackson told Evans that he had only half an hour to get ready and also told him to remove his dirty hat. Evans moved his hand towards his dirty woolen hat and smiled sadly. He told Mr. Jackson that he wanted to take it with him as it was his lucky charm. Evans knew that Jackson was sympathetic towards him. Just this once, then Shirley Temple. If there was one thing that Jackson genuinely loathed about Evans, it was his long, wavy hair. And get shaving. At 8:45 the same morning, the Reverend Stuart McLeary left his bachelor flat in Broad Street and stepped out briskly towards Carfax. The weatherman reported temperatures considerably below the normal for early June, and a long black overcoat and a shallow crown clerical hat provided welcome protection from the steady drizzle which had set in half an hour earlier and which now spattered the thick lenses of his spectacles. In his right hand he was carrying a small brown suitcase which contained all that he would need for his morning duties, including a sealed question paper envelope, a yellow invigilation form, a special authentication card from the examinations board, a paper knife, a Bible. He was to speak to the Women's Guild that afternoon on the Book of Ruth and a current copy of the Church Times. Word meaning, sir? Shirley Temple is actually name of an actress. Loath means hate. Reverend means a member of the church. Drizzle, rain. Spatter, spray. Authentication, verify. Guild, association. Paper knife is a kind of blunt knife for cutting paper. And now it's time for explanation. Jackson allowed him to wear the hat just once. He also teased him by calling him Shirley Temple. Shirley Temple was an actress who had long wavy hair. Jackson hated Evans' long and wavy hair. He then asked him to shave. At 8:45 a.m., Stuart McLeary, who was a member of the church, left his bachelor flat made for a single person, in Broad Street. He started walking fast towards Carfax. The weather reports claimed that the temperature would be below normal in early June. McLeary was wearing a black overcoat and a clerical hat. Clerical hat means hat used by the clergyman to protect himself from a rainfall that started within half an hour. It had also splashed water on his spectacles. He was carrying a small brown colored suitcase in his right hand. It had all the things required for his morning duties, such as sealed question paper envelope, yellow supervisor form, a special permission card that verified him as a supervisor, a blunt knife to cut the seal of the paper, a Bible as he had to speak for a women's association on the Book of Ruth, and the latest copy of the Church Times. The 2-hour examination was scheduled to start at 9:15 a.m. Evans was lathering his face vigorously when Stephens brought in 2 small square tables and set them opposite each other in the narrow space between the bunk on the one side and on the other a distempered stone wall. Next, Stephens brought in 2 hard chairs, the slightly less battered of which he placed in front of the table which stood near the cell door. Jackson put in a brief final appearance. "Behave yourself, laddie." Evans turned and nodded. The word meaning, sir? Schedule means to plan. Lathering means to make foam with soap. Vigorously, strongly. Distempered, painted with distemper. And battered means worn out. And now explanation. The 2-hour exam was planned to begin at 9:15 a.m. Evans was foaming his face strongly when Stephens brought in 2 small square tables. He put them opposite each other in the small space between the bed and the painted wall. He then brought in two chairs. The less worn out chair was placed in front of the table, which was near the cell door. Jackson made a small final appearance and asked Evans to behave properly. Evans turned and showed his acceptance. And now text. And these, Jackson pointed to the pin-ups. Off! Evans turned and nodded again. I was going to take them down anyway. Minister, isn't he? The chap coming to sit in, I mean. And how did you know that? Asked Jackson quietly. Well, I had to sign some forms, didn't I? And I could not help. Evans drew the razor carefully down his left cheek and left a neat swath in the white lather. Can I ask you something, Mr. Jackson? Why did they have to bug me in the cell? He nodded his head vaguely to a point above the door. Here pinups means posters, swath means a broad strip of area of something, bug means a microphone, and vaguely means roughly. Explanation. Jackson ordered Evans to remove the posters which Evans had pinned up on the cell wall. Evans agreed to this and said that he was about to remove them as he knew that it was some church man who was going to come for the exam. Jackson queried as to how he knew that. Evans said that he had noticed it when he had signed the examination form. Evans continued with his saving and sought Jackson's permission to ask him something. He then asked him why the officers had put a microphone in his cell, and he turned his head towards the space above the door. Let us continue with the text. Not a very neat job, conceded Jackson. They are not. They don't honestly think I am going to try to. They are taking no chances, Evans. Nobody in his senses would take any chance with you. Who is going to listen in? I will tell you who is going to listen in, Larry. It is the governor himself. See, he don't trust you a bloody inch, and nor do I. I'll be watching you like a hawk, Evans, so keep your nose clean. Clear? He walked towards the door. Evans nodded. He had already thought of that, and number 2 handkerchief was lying ready on the bunk, a neatly folded square of off-white linen. Just one more thing, Einstein. Yeah, was that? Good luck, old son. Now, word meaning is conceded means admit, Larry means refer to boy, and hawk is a bird of prey. Explanation. Jackson admitted that the microphone was not put perfectly as Evans easily spotted it. Evans questions him why they think that he would run. Jackson replies that anyone with a sense would not trust him. Evans then questions him as to who was going to listen to him. Jackson replied that the governor would listen as he did not trust him. Jackson told him that even he did not trust him, so he would watch him like a hawk, a bird that keeps its eye on its prey. He finally asked him to keep his nose clean, and Evans agreed. He knew this already and so had kept a neat hanky on the bed. Jackson wished him good luck before leaving.